Hi, Jackie. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for coming back in.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's okay. It's going.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Can you believe this weather?
Oh, I know.
It's so crazy. I miss the few days we had that were warm.
It was like a glimpse into the summer, and now I want just summer.
I know. It was warm enough for tank tops and t-shirts last week, and now it's back to the cold and rain.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get some snow out of the deal. One last snow for the year.
Yeah.
You don't want snow?
That one last hurrah. Yay.
Yay.
No.
Get it over with.
Good old Missouri weather.
Yeah. So, how are things since I saw you last?
They're all right.
Yeah. Did you take anything home with you that I talked about last week and kind of mull it over and make any changes yet? Or
it was in regards to the drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, like I told you last week, I didn't know anything about the fetal alcohol syndrome, and so that really kind of hit home and opened my eyes. So I went home and I normally go out with my friends, 3 to 4 times a week here, in the past couple of months, and so I didn't go out drinking with them, and so that was really hard because now there's kind of like that distance, and I don't want them to think that it's because I'm better than them or anything. It's just I don't want to that's not
Sure.
healthy for my body or my baby, and so I just don't want our friendship to end because that was like all we ever do is go out and drink, and so that's like associated with our friendship. So
yeah,
I just hope it doesn't affect us, which I mean it has been kind of awkward not drinking with them, because it's like, well, what else are we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely,
yeah, but I mean it's good. I know it's good for me not drinking, so and maybe it'll be like a lifelong change. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds like you're doing well or better. Now, as for last time, do you remember the goals that we went over at the end of our last session, what we talked about?
Well, we talked about the drinking. That was the first thing that's most important, my health and my baby's health, and just like how we progress through the pregnancy. And then we talked about my relationships, like my friends and my family, and just strengthening those bonds and creating healthy relationships.
We sure did. So I had cut down on drinking, foster better relationships with your family. I also had to focus on your health. Your health and the baby's health are your number one priority.
Yeah.
So so good. Are those still valid goals for you?
Yeah, those are that's my main focus right now. I definitely want to be healthy. And find out what I should and should not be doing while I'm pregnant, So, yeah.
Good.
And I want things to get better with my friends and family, too.
Okay, awesome.
They're all I have.
Yeah, so now since last week, when you decided to go home and try to drink less or try not to drink, did you end up telling any of your family members about that?
Yeah, I talked to my friends about it and kind of told them, and they were like, okay, like that, kind of uncomfortable because that's all we do, and they're like they still want to include me, but I don't want to go out and drink with them, so it's like, where's the middle ground? And I told my mom and my grandma about it, and they were happy, they were really glad that I made that decision, and I think they were kind of skeptical in how long it's gonna actually last, because that's been a part of my life for a long time, drinking and going out and
definitely,
just having a good time, partying kind of. So they were a little skeptical. I don't think they have the greatest confidence in in my success, but they're very happy and supportive, and
good.
So they're glad I made that choice so far.
Good. So did that alleviate any of their nagging on you throughout the week, or
yeah,
did you notice
it
a difference?
did. They didn't nag as much about my alcohol intake. I mean, they still are going on about, just the normal maternal advice that's always probably going to be there for the rest of my life. But, I just think that might be them trying, caring.
Sure.
So
that is a big deal. Yeah. That's a big deal that you did feel some relief from that pressure that they've been putting on you regularly.
Yeah, that's one thing.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, during our session today, I do want to focus on making some very specific goals for you going forward, so that you have a plan on how to best take action and achieve your goals in the long term.
Okay.
So, my first question for you today is, what are some of the things do you think that stress you out and cause you to go out? It cause you to want to go out to alleviate stress from the day, things like that. Is it mainly your job? Is it family related? Things like that. What do you think the cause of it is?
I would say for the most part it's probably just my job, because there's so much responsibility there. I'm a waitress, so I'm there for a long time. I get up early in the morning and I go in, and I pick up a lot of shifts if I'm able to. So sometimes I'm there late into the evening. My schedule, if I pick up shifts, it's very sporadic, and it's not very regular if I, do that. And I mean, I want to pick up extra shifts because, at some point I'm not going to be able to work as much because I am going to be very, very pregnant,
Right.
So I want to try to save up as much now for then. So,
Sure.
I mean, it's stressful. And I mean, you deal with all sorts of people with all sorts of attitudes, some not so great attitudes, some that are just plain old rotten, they're just not nice people. So, and if that happens early in the day especially, it just throws off your whole,
your whole mood for the rest of the day.
That's exactly what it is. The whole rest of the day, you're just kind of off.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes that causes you to be short with your customers, or, I might mess up more. And so that just doesn't help anything at all.
Right.
So, and, that happens, on a regular basis. People just sometimes are not very nice. So I would say that's the biggest stress. And then, just family, their, just advice and their critiques of your life and your decisions,
Sure.
Past and present. So all of that combined, it's just nice to go out and be with your friends and just have fun and not have to worry about going to work tomorrow or what somebody's going to say about you or about your service or anything like that. You just go and be, free and have fun and just kind of let loose. And I really like that. It's a good, stress relief, pressure release valve kind of thing. So
in terms of work, what do your days look like time-wise?
I normally wake up pretty early in the morning, probably 5 or 6, to get up and be at work at 7. We start getting, tables ready, make sure everything's cleaned up from the night before, because sometimes they might not, do the best job cleaning up. And then I'll work all day usually. My normal shift is from 7 to 3-ish. And if I pick up an extra shift, I'll be there till 8 in the evening.
Okay.
So it's usually 7 to 3, 7 to 8-ish.
And then you go home? Do you go straight out from there?
Yeah, I'll go home, and then if I'm going to go be with my friends, I'll go home for about an hour, change my clothes, maybe take a power nap if I'm able, and then I'll go, out for a couple hours, and I'll get up the next morning and go back to work.
Wow. So it sounds like your days are pretty packed.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're not getting much sleep either. Is that the case?
Not generally,
Yeah.
I guess it's a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
But I'd say on average, probably not. getting a lot.
Well, that is kind of important whenever you're pregnant, especially, I mean, it is important regardless of if you're pregnant or not, but especially because you are sleeping for your baby as well.
Yeah.
So in terms of some goals that we can look at making for you, the first one I was thinking was, I know you'd like to keep your relationship strong with your friends.
Yeah.
But how many times a week would you think that you're probably going out with them before you stopped going?
It was 2 to 3, 4 times a week.
Okay. So my idea is for you to save money and hopefully save sleep and temptation and things like that, but also try to save your friendships by hanging out with them, if that's the only way that they hang out. Would be by going with them maybe once or twice a week to start out, just narrowing down how many times you go, cutting down on that, and try just drinking water. I know having a glass in your hand makes the social part more. It makes it easier. Mm-hmm. So just drinking water or bringing a soda with you or something like that. Yeah. Would be a better alternative, so that you're still there, you're still able to, be there socially with them, but you're saving money on drinks and you're saving money on things like that, but you're also not going out many, many times a week, spending that money on the drinks, spending that energy and time that you could be sleeping. And you also might consider, trying to cut down on either the early shift or the late shift, so that you're not having to work both of those. I know you'll have to eventually, so sometimes you can't help that. Yeah. So ideally for next week, in between now and then, I suggest, if you think that it's a good idea, keeping track of how many times you go out each night or each throughout the week, and if you do drink, how much and what you drink. And that way we'll be able to take a look at the big picture, as well as if you might want to, I was going to see if you might want to keep track of how much you're sleeping each night. Okay. And that way, over the next week, we can kind of get a feel for an average week, and that might be helpful information for your doctor as well. But that way, we can kind of evaluate it from a big picture standpoint and make sure that you are getting everything that you need and your baby needs to stay healthy. Okay. Would either of those or both of those feel approachable to you? Yeah,
okay. I will definitely try to do that once or twice a week.
Yeah, and monitored. Again, I'm not here to beat you up. If it can't, I'd rather you be honest with me than it not happen and you lie to me about it, because I do want us to be able to be open with each other. So no judgment here. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I think it is important, and I know that you are looking to take care of your baby and to take care of yourself better, and while also strengthening your relationships. Mm-hmm. So I'd also like for you to keep track of, over the next week, how often your mother and your grandmother, the two people that you said know about your goal to keep your drinking down, whether I'd like for you to mark down if they mention something supportive, and also if they mention something that is nagging and feels stressful to you, and perhaps in the future, if we can have them come in, we can address that and just kind of address your feelings about how those statements make you feel and how your behavior makes them feel, things like that. But if we can kind of get an idea of if those things are changing as you make life changes, that might be able to help us approach your relationship with them from a better point of view.
Okay. Yeah, I think that all sounds like very doable. Okay. Simple tasks.
That's great. So, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Well, and are you able to meet again next week at the same time?
I am, yes.
Okay.
So, should be good.
Well, I will see you next week then.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.